It's December 16th, 2022. Let me begin by apologizing for a late start. These things happened because of issues beyond our control. Let's get going with the program this morning. This is AM Prime here on WESN. We will be talking moments from now with Mr. Rishi Maharaj, an advocate for disclosure, public information. We're talking about the fact that the matter has gone to court and there's a decision in the court about the information concerning the firearms users' licenses. What should happen with that information? Right now, however, we're talking with Ms. Diane Haddad, head of the Tobago Division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. The issue having to do with what we call the governance structure at the THA in the face of these mass resignations from the party that won those elections about a year ago. What's the situation? How is that impacting on the people in Tobago and business and life in Tobago? Mr. Haddad, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning to your viewers. Have you already asked me the question?
Yes. How is that impacting on life in Tobago, if at all? And what's the significance of that?
Well, to be very honest, I don't know how it's impacting the actual individual on the ground, but surely for business, there's a level of instability. And therefore, the decisions of investment, the decisions of risk-taking, the financial institutions looking on at us, doesn't put us in a very good place. And after having 14 years of a tumbling roller coaster and then a change in governance, and now 1 year later, a fallout in the party, it really doesn't augur well for us in terms of our structure for stability and where do we go from here. I mean, they are in power. They are supposedly independent, and the legal aspect of it I won't get into because I don't have that talent or knowledge. And therefore, I am not in a position to say legally what would be the right and the wrong, because I do know that the law covers everything, every way, depending on how you look at it. So I'm not going to get there. However, the mass resignations from the party that would have had a mandate or their document or their manifesto or their guide as the PDP puts us into a worry zone as to what is the mandate, manifesto, or direction of the independents as independents. And that will have its many question marks, loud voices and question marks, because for the last 12 months, we have not seen a clear direction for governance on the island. Neither have we seen anything happen on the island that would have made us confident about the leadership skills or talent of the people under the PDP as it stands.
So what do you know of what the plans and the promises were? And what were some of the things that people were looking to see happen that has not begun to happen yet?
Well, there were a number of, particularly for us in the business community, the PDP would have campaigned on a very strong manifesto as to the private sector being facilitated in order to do business and better business and to grow, so that the private sector would grow and develop and become stronger employers on the island and help develop the economy rather than it being so THA dependent. That we have seen no signs of. And more importantly would be the autonomy in terms of the bill and the governance structure at the legislature in terms of how it operates, that they will be going in to work on getting the voice of the people heard through the assembly. And nothing has been done in those, particularly those two areas. In fact, all that has been done so far would indicate a mass attack on the private sector to actually finish the nail in the coffin that would have started years ago previously. So it doesn't sound very sharp or sound very good right now. This is not the position that we would like to be in.
So you describe it as a mass attack. So this is something that's continued in your view from in your assessment from the last administration, the relationship between the political directorate and the business community on the island?
Yes, and well, let me say in some instances it may even be worse, but we have seen the communication between the private sector and the THA is not very good, with particularly the NGOs. The chief secretary declares that he speaks to the private sector. I am not sure what he means by that. Maybe he has some private people that he speaks to. But to the NGOs that represent the investors on the island or the interest groups, there's been no official meetings with any of them to indicate the direction that they would be going, the direction that they would like to see the island go. There's been no such communication.
So where's the sense then that the chief secretary has rapport with the people at various levels and various sectors and all of that? That is not the case. That's a fiction.
That's quite a fiction. You could not have used a better word. For us to be decent on television, the best word would be fiction. But that is not the truth. And whilst persons were in waiting, they're young, they're new, give them a chance. I have to say that quite a game was played on the people. Last night we had a session at Rovenel's, and a strong supporter of the party who declared he's never voted for the PNM in 21 years indicated his support for the party and said, let's call a spade, and it's on public, it's on social media. He said they're doing tata. So we need to be clear about what's the voice on the ground saying and feeling. And let's not take on the presentations, because we seem to have some excellent presenters. We seem to have a lot of people in the country who are talented to talk well and present well. And when you get to the bottom of it, there's very little substance or truth. And I think we've been duped for a year. And I think that the session we had last night had to do with the fact that we're not going to wait for 21 more years to recognize that we are being duped, and we need to start to treat with it immediately.
And how has there been any resolution as to how you're proposed to do that?
Well, we will have to continuously have the public sessions to allow the persons to speak, because clearly the politicians are using their platforms to do so. And whether those platforms are platforms of truth or platforms of deception, we need to keep going into a, unfortunately, public domain to decide that we are going to, debunk or challenge what is being said and let the best man come out on top, because the truth always will surface and the truth will always set you free. So once you're speaking truth, it does not matter where the attacks come from. It will resolve itself. But once you're not speaking the truth and there's deception through different forms and the creativity of language and how we use it and, space and time and matter, then it will show itself up. It doesn't, it will take some time, but it doesn't matter. It will show itself up even to those who don't pay attention.
Yeah. What are some of the initiatives that you would have expected to be at least on the ground and understood and seen efforts to move forward with?
Well, let me say, Andy, I don't want to get into initiatives that we would have liked to see, because if we have not had general interactions and conversation with this sector so that they can have an idea of where they're going, or you get a feel of what is happening in a real way, then I don't know that you can have suggestions for ideas to change it unless, they're all 14 or whatever superheroes that know what's going on, or they have the crystal balls that they work with every day. And without that interaction or communication, then I don't understand how they will have the solutions. Disappointingly, though, there were a couple suggestions made that we were working on, and nothing has come out of that since June of this year, well, May of this year, in terms of the work that was done. And just as well, we will have persons who would have worked with the party to ensure that they got into power. They themselves are complaining they can't get on to the relative parties, starting with the chief secretary, in order to take calls, to set up meetings, or to have anything, when these people were quite a backbone, apparently, to the party during their time of getting into power. So it's, well, let's say the typical politician behavior that when they get in, they forget the persons who got them there. But promises were made in terms of the island's way forward, and those people are part of the process of working with them to get that forward, and they have rejected them in many different ways.
So you think it's because they've been probably consumed with this internal squabbling, that has taken up too much time, and
I want to say no, that's not the people's business. If they had that type of squabble so quickly, it meant that squabble would have been somewhere there before they got into power, and therefore the writing was on the wall and they should have made some sort of decisions then. So if that's the case, however, if they are not experienced and they are too young, as some people may say, give them a chance on youth, then if you are not in the know how to treat with situations, then you need to capture or surround yourself with persons who have some sort of genuine heart and knowledge to assist you, or different persons. And there were many persons who had volunteered themselves to help this island when the PDP got into power, because there are people who genuinely want to see this island blossom. And I don't mean people necessarily right here, or I don't even mean me. I'm just saying there are persons who wanted to give of their knowledge and assist, and we have heard that from several people who would have participated before, who have been rejected in different forms. So youth, squabbling, you got to be able to manage your house, whether they squabble or not, because the children still need breakfast in the morning. The children still need their school books. They still need to go to school. So we still need to make sure the car is working order, whether we are squabbling or not. That cannot affect the functionalities of the home. And unfortunately, this is the home of Tobago, and those supposed parenting qualities don't seem to exist in the leaders of the home.
And the bloodletting seems to continue, because yesterday we had the news about the General Secretary, Ms. Anne Natasha II, quitting as well. So it's not done yet. The healing is still to come.
Andy, we have no clue what has happened and what is going on. And Watson Duke's Tango Wango fight public with Farley Augustine and the crew, really, it speaks to both parties and all the members of their immaturity, their lack of ability to have resolutions to the bigger picture and the goals that are set out. And I have to tell you, I am no supporter of anybody in any deep way. But if Mr. Augustine knew that there were issues with Mr. Watson Duke, then they would have needed to get assistance to resolve whatever it is. Whatever the resolution is, the resolution could be we split and go to something different and we have a new path. Whatever they come up with, I have no clue. And at this stage, I don't even know if I want to expel my energy into their nonsensical behaviors. But I cannot sit here in good conscience and say that I'm prepared to just give excuses for that behavior while the island is sinking. I'm sorry, I am not going to tolerate it or sit here, because let me tell you why. Mr. Augustine has held the two most crucial, powerful posts for a year. He is the Chief Secretary, and he has held the post of the Secretary for Finance. And after 12 months, we have had nothing take place here other than, at this stage, let us call it, some abnormal contracts that were given out. and they have more, I understand, to come out in terms of the release of lease agreements and so that have been given out. And Mr. Duke, from a position holding standpoint, has not been able to do anything sound. Let's just be real. Mr. Augustine has the powerful post of Chief Sec and Finance. Why has nothing been seriously delivered to the island, be it the private sector or the people, other than the grants that were given to fool some people, I always say, because, you know, when they get a $25,000 check, they think that that's the beginning of the world. What they haven't recognized is that does not solve their problem for continuity and their life. And so Mr. Duke, whilst I don't even, I mean, I may acknowledge the gentleman, there's no special relationship. He has not been in the mix. Mr. Augustine has had the support of his team, clearly, because they've all resigned with him, for 12 months, and he has held the two key posts, and we still have nothing being effective on this island happening. So I have a big question mark there. So I have removed Mr. Duke out of the formula from the perspective of delivery, and I want to say 12 months later, nothing has been delivered. So did he spend all his time just working out strategies to fight with Mr. Duke and ignore the island? Then it means incapability or immaturity, whatever it is. We had time to do contracts for Trinidad, and we had time to do contracts or lease agreements for special people.
Yeah, you take issue with the contracts that have been awarded thus far. You describe them as, I'm trying to remember the term you just used, but you have an issue with the manner in which these things were contributed.
Yes, the language in the newspaper from one of the reporters indicated that one of the gentlemen said that he was called and told to send in a tender, and he won. He was called, and that for me is the key.
Yes.
He was called and told, and he won. And people need to answer me that. I want an answer to that as a citizen of this country. He was called, and then he got sole selected. So I have questions. And then we are hearing a lot of stories out there about lease agreements that are in the value of $300 million over the next 10 years to particular individuals. So we need to understand. So clearly, Mr. Augustine and his team has time to sit and put those things together. But the private sector or the people on the island that do not know their future sits here waiting for simple things to be done or spoken to or communicated with, and nothing is happening.
You think any real solution to what is happening here requires a return to the polls? And what is the sentiment? There's a debate among these political scientists as to whether or not that is an absolute requirement. But to sort this thing out, you believe that in the end that is the only thing that might make sense?
Andy, I'm not going to challenge the political scientists because I'm not one. Tobago really, sadly, it suffers from this whole, I don't know if to call it ego tripping, because the country suffers from that. But the fact that we go in for these positions and we really don't love people. We really don't love people. So we go there to lead people, but we don't love people. So we go there really, it's self-serving. Are the secretaries all now concerned about their paycheck for the next 3 years to ensure that they are covered? Because a lot of them would have taken risk with their jobs. So what is it for an election? I have no clue. I really don't have a clue. Am I going to suggest we go back there? I am not suggesting it. It's not my call. And I really want to leave that part of it alone. I really want to treat with 12 months in office, nothing delivered, all the things that they spoke about in terms of private sector strength and growing, nothing has happened. All the things they spoke about in terms of treating with the legislature and how the THA Act works and things like that. No work has been done on it. And therefore, I do not know that I can sit here and say that when you give me the election, what are you going to give me? Tell me what to choose from. Show me. Show me what I'm choosing from. What was just rejected? What has now become an issue? Or the same people going and mobilize, form another party and declare, vote first because Watson was the problem.
Yeah.
When you held the key top posts.
For 12 months.
Lots could have been done in that time. Lots.
Okay. All right, we want to thank you very much at this stage, Diane Haddad. Thank you very much for talking with us and expounding or expressing your sentiments on the matter as lucidly as you have, as you always do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we hope to be talking with Ms. Anne Natasha Second. She's the General Secretary of this PDP, who only days ago decided she would call it quits as well. Stay with us.
Whether it's your family meet and eat or your own personal getaway retreat, a business trip accommodation or a couple's celebration, the Cocoa Reef Resort and Spa has room for you. There's always sumptuous, delicious cuisine and the gym and tennis court for a good workout routine. Then relax by the pool or on the private beach, or just head to the spa. It's also within reach. The Cocoa Reef Resort and Spa, Tobago's best beach resort. For reservations, call 639-8571 or check our website.
Is there not a cause? Is There Not a Cause needs more help and volunteers for the many outreach events during this busy, critical season. You can volunteer and help in many ways: your time, your talent or skills, your resources, or your finances. Is There Not a Cause is making a difference one life at a time. Check Is There Not a Cause's Facebook page for a calendar of outreach and fundraiser events and share where you can volunteer or WhatsApp 394-2042.
Welcome to the American University of Barbados School of Medicine. We offer 2 comprehensive MD programs, 5.5-year program for high school finishers, and 4-year program for college graduates.
The American University of Barbados has been accredited with the Barbados Accreditation Council, BAC, and has been accredited
by CAMHP.
as the medical school has affiliate hospitals at Baltimore and Chicago in the USA and the Caribbean islands.
Register now for the next intake, January 2023.
Make your list from A to Z, find it all easily. Everyone comes from far and near to the specialist highway.
Get all you need for your interior or exterior projects, from finishing accessories to small or large tools. We're known for our range of doors, flooring, moldings, medallions, even fountain pumps and tanks. Check us out. We have what you need to get that job done.
Make your list from A to Z, find it all easily. Everyone comes from far and near to the specialist highway.
Oceans Industrial Complex, Union Road, Marbella.
Your Christmas is safe with us at PCU. Police Credit Union. Police Credit Union. Your Christmas is safe with us at PCU. Police Credit Union. PCU. Police Credit Union.
Get an easy zero-interest Christmas loan at Police Credit Union today. Borrow up to $25,000 with affordable monthly payments. New members, you get up to $10,000. No interest, no installments until January. Apply online at www.policecreditunion.com. Loan subject to credit approval.
Better Value Limited has been making gift giving easier and more affordable for over 26 years. Power tools, indoor, outdoor furniture and accessories, mini appliances, designer fragrances, houseware and home decor products, and all your bridal registry items. Now in stock, our stylish loft bed and study desk combo unit for just $16.50. Better Value Limited. Call 235-3709 or visit us at Princestown or Gullview, or check our Facebook page.
Whether it's acid reflux, cataracts, glaucoma, a swollen prostate, diabetes, or weight loss, Customized Health Solutions has been helping Trinidad and Tobago for over 2 decades. So let us help you. Call 627-2640 for your Compass assessment now.
Horse and Heights, Tavern Bar, making your home a work of art.
Step into a spacious place of creative ideas for your home space. Our floor and wall tiles and natural stone is ideal for any use you need in your home. Toilet, bathroom sets and vanities lend design to your creativity, while jacuzzis and shower enclosures create the mood for dwelling on life's pleasures. Lamps and lighting fixtures add ambience and memorable pictures.
Wholesale lights, tiles and bath, making your home a work of art.
Oceans Industrial Complex, Union Road, Marabella.
Living in victory every day.
Inspire, motivate, encourage, hope. It's about topical issues. It's about everything that you would want to know about hope, about life. At the end, you're going to say, yes, if he can do it, I can do it too. If she can, I can do it too.
No matter what they say, living in victory every day.
Nicole Lawson Live, living in victory every day. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. and Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. on WESN.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
Welcome back to the program. At this point, let's take a quick look around the region, at least make a start with that. We want to go to a story out of Grenada. It says cruise ships would turn back due to the effects of adverse weather conditions coming to what is called the Spice Island. We have a report from the GBN.
2 cruise ships were unable to dock at the St. George's Cruise Ship Terminal on Wednesday morning. That as a result of adverse weather conditions, high swells and broken lines, according to the Grenada Tourism Authority. The cruise ships had to turn back in less than an hour after arriving in Grenada. The first expected ship was Ventura, which arrived at 7 a.m., and Ada Perla at 8 a.m. Both ships were expected to depart Grenada at 6 p.m. On Tuesday, the Meteorological Office at the Maurice Bishop International Airport and the National Disaster Management Agency issued a release informing that Grenada and neighboring islands were experiencing a trough with accompanying conditions which were expected to continue today. Some of the potential weather impacts include territorial coastal waters are projected to be agitated with waves extending to 8 feet above normal northeasterly swells. High surfs and marine advisories are in effect. According to the GTA, for the 2022-2023 season, over 200 cruise calls are scheduled. This represents an 11% increase in the amount of calls last season.
All right, so with us now Ms. Anne Natasha Second. She's the former General Secretary of the Progressive Democratic Patriots, the party that has been falling apart bit by bit. 1 year after winning the majority, the vast, overwhelming majority of positions in the Tobago House of Assembly. Good morning, ma'am. Well, I'm good, thanks. I just want to clear something up here. I saw reference to your name in the newspapers yesterday, and
it's the season to be jolly. That brings a smile. That lasts a lifetime from Simon's Musical Supplies. We have drums of all kinds. Quattro, myra, guitar, trumpet, clarinets, and flutes. At Simon's, we have it all for you. You could get a violin, a mandolin, in steel hand, a piano or simply a music stand, music books and everything for a band. Simon's Musical Supplies.
Come visit our new location, 20 Bourne Street, Port of Spain, or call 625-6412.
Music countries, all come through.
Better Value Limited has been making gift giving easier and more affordable for over 26 years. Power tools, indoor, outdoor furniture and accessories, mini appliances, designer fragrances, houseware and home decor products, and all your bridal registry items. Now in stock, our stylish loft bed and study desk combo unit for just $16.50. Better Value Limited. Call 235-3709 or visit us at Princestown or Gulfview, or check our Facebook page.
Whether it's acid reflux, cataracts, glaucoma, a swollen prostate, diabetes, or weight loss, customized health solutions has been helping Trinidad and Tobago for over 2 decades. So let us help you. Call 627-2640 for your Compass assessment now.
Poolside nights, tiles and bath, making your home a work of art.
Step into a spacious place of creative ideas for your home space. Our floor and wall tiles and natural stone is ideal for any use you need in your home. Toilet, bathroom sets and vanities lend design to your creativity, while jacuzzis and shower enclosures create the mood for dwelling on life's pleasures. Lamps and lighting fixtures add ambience and memorable pictures.
Poolside nights, tiles and bath, making your home a work of art.
Oceans Industrial Complex, Union Road, Marabella.
At Belgroves, celebrating life is our commitment with integrity, compassion, and dignity for your loved ones. Belgroves Funeral Home and Crematorium, serving Trinidad and Tobago for over a century.
Take your list from A to Z, find it all easily. Everyone comes from far and near to the specialist highway.
Get all you need for your interior or exterior projects, from finishing accessories to small or large tools. We're known for our range of doors, flooring, moldings, medallions, even fountain pumps and tanks. Check us out. We have what you need to get that job done.
Take your list from A to Z, find it all easily. Everyone comes from far and near to the specialist highway.
Oceans Industrial Complex, Union Road, Marabella.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the content capital.
Here is your WESN News on the Hour. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Shogunas East MP calls for funds to be made available to flood-affected persons. TT and Angola strengthen ties. TT rideshare driver robbed. And internationally, 6 states without power as deadly winter storm and tornadoes hit the U.S. Now for the details. Shogunas East MP Vandana Mohit says citizens are being faced with a depressing Christmas due to the poor management of the government. Speaking at the UNC conference on Thursday, she said that at the Standing Finance Committee in October, where an allocation of over $100 million would result in persons receiving greater value via food cards and the NAMDEVCO initiative. This, she said, was never done.
I am calling on the Minister of Finance to make these funds available for the benefit of the citizens, because you are the one who said to us that this will augment food cards via the NAMDEVCO initiative. Why has the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, cognizant of the plight of farmers and NAMDEVCO's inability to supply relief, not approach or rather demand the Minister of Finance that these allocations be made available to to the less fortunate in the country.
Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amy Brown joined the Angolan Minister of External Affairs, Tete Antonio, to sign the joint communique officially establishing diplomatic relations between the two countries. Minister Brown and Minister Antonio addressed the Angolan media after the event, and both officials emphasized the historical ties that link the two nations and the strong potential for collaborations in the energy sector, agriculture, trade and investments, and other areas of mutual interest, and for further cooperation at multilateral fora. A TT ride-share driver was tied up and robbed on Wednesday night by a would-be passenger. Reports say around 10 p.m. the driver was called to pick up two men at Madras Road, Cunupia, to take them to Laurel Hill, 5 Rivers, Aruca. On arrival, they announced a robbery, took her further into the hills across a river, tied her up and left her there. She managed to seek help from nearby residents. The vehicle was recovered in Princheville, Arima. On to international. Fierce winter storm has left a trail of destruction across the southern U.S., devastating communities and killing 3 people in Louisiana. The weather has also left tens of thousands without power across 6 states. To the east, an estimated 11 million people in Florida and Georgia are still facing the threat of tornadoes. The storm system also brought blizzard-like conditions to Midwest. Well, that was your news for the hour on WESN. I am Denise Martin. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the program. We're waiting to hook up again with Ms. Ann Natasha Second, the former General Secretary of the PDP, the Progressive Democratic Patriots in Tobago. Well, let me begin by saying thanks for your patience.
That's okay. Good morning.
Yeah, so let me ask you, what transpired? Some people might ask you, what took you so long to make the decision that you made yesterday after the mass walk away from this party? What detained you?
Well, there were a couple of duties to still be done. And we were giving the political leader and the other members of the NEC, etc., a little time to see where the general trajectory was going to take us.
Yeah, you say we were doing that. When you say that, which means you and there are other people, yes?
Mm-hmm. Members of the NEC, members of the PDP.
What is your sense of how the supporters of this party, if not the direct membership, are feeling at this time?
Well, there is some disappointment. There is some confusion. There is some sense of relief with the movement towards separating ourselves from what seems to be the direction of the political leader and a very small number of NEC members, and willingness to move on.
When you say what seems to be the direction of the political leader, were you talking about Mr. Duke?
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. Because the party would have begun with persons from various political backgrounds, persons who were not interested in politics at all, just a general movement towards improving the services and the direction of Tobago itself as we try to achieve this long-awaited autonomy. And we all came together, we all invested our resources, we organized ourselves into a very highly well-structured party, and we were motivated, and we motivated Tobagonians. We got people to the polls, and we ousted the PNM, which was there for 21 years. We were not satisfied with the performance. We got together, we organized ourselves, we moved them from the picture, and we were steadily doing the process of change, which is an uncomfortable process. It's a process that involves evaluating where we are and looking at how we can transform the systems so that we can actually make progress. But that derailed with the direction of the political leader himself. He became very obsessed with his own dream, began to try to insult the professionals in the party, and by doing so insult adults in the society in Tobago, persons from the teaching service, persons from the public service, insult them. When you compare their work to his work, he sees himself as the boss. He sees himself as having attained more than anybody in the public service can attain, and he's on his single path towards whatever he's trying to achieve. So I wouldn't encourage any professional, any young person, anyone to be part of the current construct that is the PDP.
What is, might you share an example of what that might have been, his attitude, his approach to leadership? What is something that he would have done or said that you think that was cause for what has happened?
The decision to fire the deputy political leaders, the single-handed decision to do that, the disregard for the advice of the elders in the community, the refusal to communicate with the general membership about the direction in which we all wanted to go and the how, the process of getting to that together, the refusal to meet with us and to have consensus. His voice alone mattered. So, his voice alone can continue to matter.
What is your sense of the feeling of the people who would have so overwhelmingly supported this movement? What are they saying and thinking now as we speak?
Well, the first goal was achieved, which is together there was this euphoric, satisfactory kind of feeling about having ousted the PNM and having ushered in a new era. So the people were very happy with the new administration. Some persons understand that that process is going to be a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit challenging. So we have the THA administration on the one hand, which represents that achievement. So that part of the process has not changed. So they are continuing, albeit as independents now, on their trajectory along with the voices of all of Tobagonians to improve the lot of Tobago. So that element is still stable. Persons will challenge, and it's good because we'll have that debate in the space, the democracy of it, whether they have the right to continue with the mandate that all of the people worked together to come up with, etc. So that debate is a healthy debate, and it's good for the entire Trinidad and Tobago community. The politics of it, the testing of the structure of our THA Act, etc., and rolling out the action of actually becoming the independence and becoming whatever we are going to become as a people, that is good stuff, because it's a very exciting, very new politics nationally, and everybody's talking about it. And as politicians, you want everybody talking about you. You want more good than bad, but you want everybody talking about you and your movement. So it's a good footing for people to continue on, because there is the stable THA administration on the one hand. The people of Tobago are accustomed to the birth and death of parties. There is the fact that persons came, as I said in the beginning, from all different parties to become part of the PDP. There were PNM people, TOP forwards, people from nowhereans. People came together to follow that one goal. That goal still exists. And so it's simply a matter of reorganizing the people and moving forward as we embrace autonomy and all of the blessings that will come with autonomy and the challenges as well.
So there isn't this great sense of people saying, what did we do here? We made a mistake.
No, you would have the activists from particular political groups, because they want the opportunity to go back to the polls, and their efforts would be to try to destabilize the existing THA administration. So those activists will be agitating for that and so on, but they're in the vast minority. They're in the minority. The people of Tobago, we don't shift allegiances or the way we think too easily. We're like late adopters. We take our time, we assess what is taking place, and we're not hustled. We're not hustled. We're not too hurried, especially if the thing is not unstable. There is a chief secretary. The independents are all working together, and the system is working along with the changes that are uncomfortable and have to happen.
All right, so you have now decided to make the step to line up with that group of independents, former members of the PDP. So some other movement will come out of that, but for the moment you think that the activity and the ambitions that you all had coming in, those things remain intact, and that you have the commitment to carry forward with whatever the platform was that got you into the driver's seat?
You're talking about me, what I'm going to do politically?
No, those people, we talk about the independents generally. So you all still hold to the aspirations, sort of the mandate and the program of activities that you all won the election on. You're saying that you all still hold to that and you want to find the best means in which to go forward with it.
Yes, because you see, the mandate would have come from the people.
Yeah.
It would have been while walking around campaigning and so on, the persons would have said, these are the things that we want to change. So there are specific divisions now that have already launched out on their strategic planning process. And so there is a movement within the divisions that is going to spill over in the new year to the actual communities, north, south, east, west, Tobago. All of the people are going to be involved. And so that mandate will be modified. It will be adapted to suit where we need to go in a realistic way, and how we are going to do some strategic financial planning to add to the little budget that we do get from Trinidad. By the way, I do celebrate the fact that we do get so much money from one space, even though it cannot meet the actual needs of the Tobago people. But I see it as an exciting opportunity to source other funds to do whatever we see as our shared vision. So the independents are quite capable. They are surrounded by a strong public sector with challenges like any public sector in the world. But the majority of the persons will continue moving along with the mandate that was already created, modifying it as we go with the voices based on how we have implemented the things that have been desired, and how we are going to go forward.
So there's reporting in the papers today about checks that were issued by the officials in the Assembly that bounced, to use our language. But I think there's a rebuttal to that from the administration that it's not a question of the checks being bounced, whatever the issue was. That's not the problem. There's money there.
Yeah, there's money there. So what has to happen? Like I said, some changes are uncomfortable and they're new and they're strange. So there will have to be much more communication with all of the stakeholders, all of the key stakeholders. So the banks, the THA, the individuals, whether they are suppliers or they are persons just getting their salaries, etc. More communication has to be done and we have to function in a more coherent manner. So we have to streamline our activities a little better, and we have to work on communicating better with each other. But as the systems are improved, as the systems develop, the Tobago people, the Tobago population will be moving towards that autonomy with greater institutional strengthening and greater individual and personal ability and capacity. So what we're doing is developing the systems, and we have to communicate that development to the people better. And the people have to be educated at the same time. So it's a lot we have to bite off and chew up and consume and so on. But it all has to be done together, because that is the investment that people made in the new construct of the first the party and now the independents that are there.
It appears as though you're going to transfer your sort of your feeling, your competence as being this the General Secretary of that movement into doing that for this group now that will coalesce around the Chief Secretary and others, right?
Well, my capacity is there, my expertise is there, my support is there. The bigger picture of Tobago and Tobago's development and Tobago's readiness for autonomy, if nothing else is taken from my interview this morning, that is the bigger picture. We don't have time for the big pictures of any one individual. We have a collective dream and we have a collective direction that we need to take to follow those and to fulfill those dreams. So my expertise will be there to help Tobago achieve what we need to achieve, to be able to benefit properly from autonomy. Otherwise, other people will benefit more than we do because autonomy is coming. So yes, I'm going to lend my brain and my time to developing whatever is the new entity that will come out for Tobago.
It seems as though you are one to watch. Ms. Anne Natasha Second, thank you very much. We will stay in touch with you.
Thank you so much. You take good care.
You're very welcome. We will take a quick break and let's see if we can get a Mr. Rishi Maraj here. We're talking now about, well, the issue of the publication of the details of what is called the Firearms Users Licenses Report. Stay with us.
Welcome to the American University of Barbados School of Medicine. We offer 2 comprehensive MD programs, 5.5-year program for high school finishers, and 4-year program for college graduates.
The American University of Barbados has been accredited with the Barbados Accreditation Council, BAC, and has been accredited
by CAMHP.
As the medical school has affiliate hospitals at Baltimore and Chicago in the USA and the Caribbean islands.
Register now for the next intake, January 2023.
Whether it's your family meet and eat or your own personal getaway retreat, a business trip accommodation or a couple's celebration, the Cocoa Reef Resort and Spa has room for you. There's always sumptuous, delicious cuisine and the gym and tennis court for a good workout routine. Then relax by the pool or on the private beach or just head to the spa. It's also within reach. The Cocoa Reef Resort and Spa, Tobago's best beach resort. For reservations, call 639-8571 or check our website.
Is there not a cause? Is there not a cause needs more help and volunteers for the many outreach events during this busy, critical season? You can volunteer and help in many ways. Your time, your talent or skills, your resources, or your finances. Is There Not a Cause is making a difference one life at a time. Check Is There Not a Cause's Facebook page for a calendar of outreach and fundraiser events and share where you can volunteer or WhatsApp 394-2042.
Your Christmas is safe with us at PCU. Police Credit Union. Police Credit Union. Your Christmas is safe with us at PCU. Police Credit Union. PCU. Police Credit Union.
Get an easy zero-interest Christmas loan at Police Credit Union today. Borrow up to $25,000 with affordable monthly payments. New members, you get up to $10,000. No interest, no installments until January. Apply online at www.policecreditunion.com. Loan subject to credit approval.
Better Value Limited has been making gift giving easier and more affordable for over 26 years. Power tools, indoor, outdoor furniture and accessories, mini appliances, designer fragrances, houseware and home decor products, and all your bridal registry items. Now in stock, our stylish loft bed and study desk combo unit for just $16.50. Better Value Limited. Call 235-3709 or visit us at Princestown or Gulview, or check our Facebook page.
It's the season to be jolly. That brings a smile. That lasts a lifetime from Simon's Musical Supplies. We have drums of all kinds. Quattro, myra, guitar, trumpet, clarinets, and flutes. Musical dreams all come true. At Simon's, we have it all for you. Give a gift a violin, a mandolin, steel pan, a piano, or simply a music stand. Music books and everything for a band. Simon's Musical Supplies.
Come, visit our new location, 24th Street, Port of Spain, or call 625-6412.
Music countries, all come
Horse-side nights, hands and bar, making your home a work of art.
Step into a spacious place of creative ideas for your home space. Our floor and wall tiles and natural stone is ideal for any use you need in your home. Toilet, bathroom sets and vanities lend design to your creativity, while jacuzzis and shower enclosures create the mood for dwelling on life's pleasures. Lamps and lighting fixtures add ambience and memorable pictures.
Horse-side nights, hands and bar, making your home a work of art.
Olsen's Industrial Complex, Union Road, Marabella.
Welcome back to the program. Well, let's just tell you this. There's a story in one of the papers, one of the Newsday editions today about this matter of the firearms users report issue. The fact is that it was going to go to the Parliament, but the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, is daring the Prime Minister to make it public outside of the Parliament. The government has decided to challenge the decision in the court to prevent publication of it thus far. Here's this position. Former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith is challenging the Prime Minister to make public the findings of the controversial firearms users licenses audit anywhere but in the Parliament. He said he had nothing to hide, but wants the report to be made public in a place where legal consequences for slander and defamation could follow. Not in the Parliament, he says, which is covered by qualified or absolute privilege from defamation claims for damages. So he wants it out in the public. We will follow that as to where it goes. But right now, we want to take a look again at what is happening around the region. Raise Your Voice, St. Lucia, is calling out the public in the wake of the sentencing of a man found guilty in the death of a 17-year-old person, Crystal Santomere. We have a report on that from HTS News Force.
8 years behind bars is the sentence handed down to the convicted killer of 17-year-old Crystal Santomere, who was strangled to death back in 2012. Mario Perez Charles was sentenced on Friday, December 9th, after having spent 10 years on remand for Santomere's murder.
I mean, it takes almost 11 years for justice for a woman who was killed. And this is unacceptable. We need to do better. The justice system needs to do better.
17-year-old Crystal Santomere left her home on August 22, 2012, to collect her CXC results at the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School, but never returned home. Her partially decomposed body was discovered days later in a remote area at Cap Estate. A post-mortem examination later revealed that the teenager was strangled to death. Mario Perez Charles was later arrested and charged for the murder of Crystal Santomere.
There are a lot of things that have happened between the start of the trial and the end of the trial last week. And while I personally am not satisfied, there are things that I'm aware of that I cannot say that it's anybody's fault.
Some quarters of society have reportedly expressed outrage at the perceived lenient punishment, some view as a slap in the face of the victim's heartbroken loved ones. However, activist and president of Raise Your Voice, St. Lucia, Catherine Seelys, questions the righteous indignation that follows when the proverbial horse has already bolted.
Now let me address the outrage. I see everybody outraged and there's no justice in St. Lucia. But my problem begins with the fact that St. Lucians never pay attention until it no longer matters. When you call out for a match against domestic violence, it don't show up. When you ask to support you so that you can advocate for domestic violence against women, they don't support you. When you ask for help, they don't, except for the few people who know themselves. We need to do better as an organization. We need to do better as a people, as an individual, to say we stand against violence against women and girls and all forms of violence, including the gun violence. We see that is so common in this country.
Seeley's argues that a culture of indifference and complacency among the public contributes to the perceived unjust outcomes in such disturbing cases, given a deficient system's failure to heed the prevailing mood in the land, as well as the importance of the rule of law.
Till it gets to our door, we don't have a problem while others are crying out. So we need to look from within and understand this justice is all our fault.
There is a litany of cases in St. Lucia dating back decades involving ghastly crimes against women, including murder, which are yet to be solved with convictions in the courts, despite public protestations, lip service, and the enactment of new laws.
All right, we want to go to an international story now. But before we do that, just tell you this about the developing issue concerning this business about the publication of the report, the Firearms Users License Report. There was this editorial in the paper called Judicial Overreach. That's in the news. Let's just give you a sense of what it is saying. The High Court on Tuesday blocked the Prime Minister from tabling in the Parliament a key report relating to the regulation of firearms in the country. It is a decision that should urgently be appealed. The state is correct in announcing its intention to do so, and that in fact is taking place. The case brought by former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith against Dr. Rowley and the National Security Council is as important as it is complex. It is a key test of the limits of prime ministerial authority as it pertains to a sensitive matter of national security. The case's gravitas, however, is no justification for a blurring of the lines that demarcate the separation of powers. That is what High Court Judge Justice Devendra Ramprasad's interim injunction does. The editorial goes on to say why that should not be the case and why it should become a matter for public discussion. But let's just tell you this on the international scene. Just a few days after the government dropped its zero COVID strategy and began loosening hardline restrictions, streets, malls, and subway stations in the Chinese capital, Beijing, were largely deserted early this week as an explosion in COVID cases prompted many residents to stay indoors. Take a look at this.
还是有的，就是需要自由承担的代价吧，感觉是，就是去各个地方方便了，但是就是对自己来说，自己要更严谨了，因为外面没有一个比较大的保护罩来防卫我们，就所以说就现在就是对自己这个防疫意识要提高了，然后我觉得这个风险是个人和企业来承担了更大的部分。
建议就是个人的防护，包括勤洗手，然后个人的防护就是口罩、护目镜还是要佩戴，然后避免说人群之中还是有一些传染性。那虽然说现在已经这种疫情已经常态化，但是个人的防护还是必须要做到。
And that will do it for us for this edition of the program. We thank you for watching. We thank our guests. We tell you can get in touch with AM Prime at WESNCC on all the social media platforms. You can send your emails to amprime@wesncc.com. In about half an hour, we'll have news at the top of the hour again, followed by today's edition of Talking Point, which is small, but for now we're done. I'm Andy Johnson. Have a good weekend. We see you around.